But that's not the means by which we gain our identity. You see, we try so hard to prove to ourselves that we're spiritual by our moral stand. The only thing that can do is give you guilt and make you a judge of others. That's all it can do. It can't do anything else. And you know, of the two things that Paul said that the believer, the one who embraces the work of the cross, there's two things you should be free from the rest of the days of your breathing, existing life on planet Earth. And that is, you should never ever experience a twinge of guilt ever again. And never ever should you judge another human being. Wow. That's an amazing thing. You know, we talk about temptation. Doesn't look like I'm going to go the direction I was thinking I was going to go. We have two Adams to deal with, folks. And it's not called the first Adam and the second one. Because if there's a first and a second, what does that leave room for? A third. Yes, exactly right. So, the understanding of the Scriptures made it very clear that we are dealing with a first Adam and a last Adam. Now, everybody knows who the first Adam was, right? How many of you here truly in your heart know who the last Adam was? Okay, who was the last Adam? All right, Jesus Christ was the last Adam according to the teachings of Paul. Now, when you look at these two, and I started reading through Romans 5, and Paul came up with this crazy idea, and it's like, what? And he laid this out, and he said that the first Adam was an absolute perfect replica, a perfect picture of Jesus Christ. And I'm sorry, folks. It was like, okay, Paul, you're a good dude, but you've lost it. What are you trying to say here? How in the world can you possibly say that the man who threw the entire planet into sin is a perfect image of Jesus Christ? How do you get the mirror image? And that's really what it means, a mirror image. But you know, a mirror image is just the opposite. The right's on the left. It's the mirror image. How can you say that? How, Paul, could you say that the man... I mean, why didn't you say he was kind of a mirror image of Moses? Why couldn't you say he was a mirror image of like the angels or Joseph? Or I understood those. But he didn't. He said that the last Adam, he said Jesus Christ was a perfect mirror image, or Adam was a perfect mirror image of Jesus Christ. So what he was telling me, if I wanted to know what I really needed to know about Jesus Christ, I needed to know all I could know about the first Adam. I thought, well, where's the comparison? Well, we do know that the first Adam was tempted, right? We do know that he succumbed to that temptation. We were talking about this today while we were eating, but not from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. We were just eating. And we were discussing this and talking about the first Adam and the fact of his of what he did. You know, when God placed Adam and Eve on this earth, he said, this is very good. He said, and in fact, when God created Adam and Eve, he said let us create them in our image. In our own image, let us create them. So, how many of you believe that Adam was created in the very image of God? That's what it says, doesn't it? Do you remember what the temptation was, though? You know, when we think about temptation, it's always sex, drugs, rock and roll, pot, whatever. That's what we always think about. But what did he tempt? What did the serpent tempt Adam with? He said to Eve and communicated to Adam, this fruit, the reason God doesn't want you to partake of it is because He knows that the moment you do, you will be just like Him. Now, wait a minute. According to creation story, he was already created in the image of God. So when they gave in to this temptation, was it the temptation to do something that would make them less than God? No. It was the temptation to do something to give them a stance with God they already had. Now, folks, that's deception. I mean, the desire to eat one more Twinkie than what you ought to is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about identity. Identity that is such a powerful force. Do you know the identity that you carry around with you is the force by which you make all of your decisions? I don't care whether you believe God's laws in effect, not in effect, whether you believe God, don't believe God, whether you believe in Jesus, Buddha, or whoever you believe in. Those are not the things that control and give you the sense of what you are going to do with your life. It's the sense of identity that you have. It's the value and the worth that you place in yourself that tells you what you're going to do with your life. It's the thing that causes you to make certain decisions over other decisions. It's the value and the respect that you have for yourself. It's not the honor that you have toward God. Folks, my goodness, look at Jimmy Swaggart. I mean, he gives all the honor, all the glory to God, and yet everything he preached against, that's what he did. Hey, haven't we seen enough of our leaders who have professed their own righteousness before us? And it seems to be the thing that they get obsessed with and have no control over. Jimmy Swaggart had the largest listening audience on the face of planet Earth ever in the history of the world. And yet he had no power to stop himself from picking up prostitutes.